Welcome to my August wrap-up and book haul. Huzzah! So first and foremost, I want to let you guys know that I am having a book giveaway over on my blog. I'm giving away a couple of copies of an ebook called Werewolf Academy Chosen by Cherie Alsop. You can go find out more details on my blog. I've got 3 copies to give away. You've got really good chances. This isn't book related at all, but I had to show this off. This is a newly acquired painting. A friend of mine this past year just graduated with her master's degree in art, and she was having an art show, and of course I had to get something, right? This is a flying Chinese junk in outer space. You seriously can't get cooler than that. So if you like this artwork and you want to see more of her stuff, she has a Facebook page, Artful Adventurer, as you see right there on the bottom of the screen. Definitely check her stuff out. She likes to travel and she does photography and she does a lot of really awesome artwork. I think what's on her page right now is a really fun rendition of the character May from Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's a beautiful piece of artwork, and of course May is my favorite character. One of my favorite characters, because Zuko and Iroh are pretty high up there too. So first, let's talk about the books that I read in the month of August. I failed miserably at keeping my Goodreads account up to date this month, and so I don't think I have still put on half of the books that I read. I do not have to show you, but I read the first 2 volumes of Secret Avengers. Apparently there are several different series of Secret Avengers, several different storylines and issues by different people, and this is the one I caught. I gave them each 3 stars. They were interesting, they were funny, but they were truly bizarre. I also felt like I was walking in the middle of several plot lines, didn't really know what was going on. I was talking to a friend of mine who is very obsessed with comic books, and he's kind of giving me pointers on good ones to read and where's a good place to start. And I mentioned to him that I had started reading the Secret Avengers, and when I described to him which of the Secret Avengers I had started reading and mentioning how lost I felt, he laughed at me. They deal with all of the other stuff that goes on in the Marvel Universe. They're not like standalone stories, they're like stories that are affected by everything else that's going on. So yeah, he laughed at me. Big bonus? Agent Phil Coulson. Thor, God of Thunder, volumes 1, 2, and 3. This is a really interesting series. The first 2 volumes had to do with the villain Gore, the God Butcher, and this is an alien who is going around and killing all of the gods. And it was a very interesting storyline. Gore was a very interesting villain. He had depth, he had reasons, and it was very interesting to watch that development. Good villain. It also involved 3 different timelines, so you get 3 different Thors. You get young Thor, you get present day Thor, and you get old Thor. Love that. In volume 3, they're still kind of carrying on with the 3 different Thors, but everybody has been returned to their timelines. This deals with a new storyline and a new villain, and very interesting. I am interested to keep reading this run because it's good. In this book, primarily it deals with one storyline, and then you have one story at the end that was completely depressing. I mean, it's not that it was a bad story. It was depressing. It was sad. It was not, in my opinion, a really great way to end this volume, because the main story that it followed for most of the volume, it already doesn't end on a happy note. And then you throw in this like extra story and it's just downright depressing. It definitely has purpose. It kind of helps show some character development for Thor, but in my opinion it was a depressing place to end it. And maybe that's just me being sensitive and girly. It was good, but it was depressing. I think I gave these all about 4 stars. Really good storylines, really good characters, and I really like the artwork. Couple of explicit scenes, so that I didn't so much love, but the storylines and the characters and the villains are all really good. I also listened to Stolen Magic by Gail Carson Levine. This is the sequel to A Tale of Two Cities, which is about a young girl who becomes the assistant to a detecting dragon. You can put whatever Sherlock smog kind of jokes and references you want to make there. They're really fun books. I've been waiting for the sequel for a long time. They kept kind of pushing back the publishing date, and then all of a sudden I looked on the shelf and oh, they're there it was! I couldn't believe it. You definitely have to be expecting something that's very Sherlock. The dragon is very Sherlock. That book I gave 4 stars and I didn't actually review it. Library Wars, Love and War, volumes 12 and 13. This is probably one of my favorite manga series of all times. I've fangirled about it enough on these videos. It's really good. It's also pretty girly, but volumes 12 and 13 are the most recent ones that I've read, and they each got 5 stars, and they're so good. Odd Hours by Dean Koontz. This is the 4th book in the Odd Thomas series. I have not yet reviewed this. I have not yet rated it. It would probably be in the realm of 4 to 5 stars. This could very well be my second favorite book in the series so far. I love this series. It has so much mystery, and it's good and evil and ghosts and spirits and demons and the evil of people versus the good of people, and so much fun. As far as the books that I actually reviewed, Sidekicked by John David Anderson. You can find the link for that down below to both my blog and the video review that I did. I also reviewed Powerless by Tera, Lynn and Tracy Deebs. This was a young adult superhero fiction, and Sidekicked was a middle grade superhero fiction. So I was very into the superhero fiction. I was trying to read all of the superhero fiction that was on my to-be-read list. Both Powerless and Sidekicked got 4 stars. I reviewed them both on YouTube and on my blog. Those links are down below. I've also done a video called Amanda and the Star Wars Summer, because this year is all about Star Wars. And in that video I did mini reviews of all of the Star Wars books that I had read up to that point. I also fangirled a bit about Star Wars. I talked a little about just everything Star Wars in that video. The video's actually gotten quite a good response, and I've been asked by several of the commenters to keep doing those videos. So I plan to do a Star Wars video every once in a while once I gather enough content that I can actually make a whole video worthwhile. But definitely be on the lookout for more Star Wars videos, because I love Star Wars. I could talk about Star Wars all day, and if people want more Star Wars, I will give them more Star Wars. Now, I have also been doing blog posts about Amanda and the Star Wars Summer for the last about 2 months. I did have a blog post talking about the mini reviews that I did on those books, but there is some extra content on that blog post. So if you're interested in finding out a little more about me and the Star Wars, go ahead and check out that blog post as well. Beep beep bloop bloop. I also read and reviewed Maro by Preston Norton. This is another young adult superhero fiction. I also gave it 4 stars. This one didn't get a video review because I ran out of time. I did review it over on my blog, so you can read the review. There were 2 other blog posts that I did on my blog this month. The first one was Worth Watching, which is what I'm now going to dub everything that I write or review as far as TV shows and movies and things that you watch. It's gonna be called Worth Watching because I'm so clever. Anyway, I did a blog post on the television show Battle Creek. If you have not heard of this, it was a unfortunately short-lived television show. It was a procedural. It was a cop show. It took place in the small-ish town of Battle Creek, Michigan. It starred Josh Duhamel? Is that how you pronounce his name? Or we're gonna go with Josh Duhamel, and then if I'm wrong, I apologize. It was starring Josh Duhamel and Dean Winters, and it was on CBS. My blog post was just kind of part a review and part a fan statement about why the show was good, what was good about it, and why it is still worth watching even though it got canceled. I'll tell you right now, there wasn't a cliffhanger ending, which is half of the reason why it's still okay to watch, even though you're not going to get any more. Not quite as bad as Firefly being canceled, but it was up there. I loved that show. It was really, really good. So you can go over there and check that out if you're interested in hearing about that. And I also give you a little bit of information on the fans who are still trying to save Battle Creek. Yeah. And the other blog post I did was about the book giveaway I already mentioned, but also a writing update. This is my story so far. This is how I'm plotting my series, and these are all index cards, and there is a lot there. And this is how much work I have gotten done in just a couple of days. So of course all of those links to my blog and videos are down below. You can just check those out when you're ready. Now for what I'm currently reading. I only have about 100 pages left of Star Wars Dark Force Rising by Timothy Zahn. This is the sequel to Heir of the Empire, which I reviewed in that Amanda and the Star Wars Summer video. Really good series. I'm loving this so much. I'm also listening to Star Wars The Phantom Menace by Terry Brooks. This was actually recommended in a comment by one of my subscribers on the Amanda and the Star Wars Summer video. He recommended both The Phantom Menace and the Clone Wars novelizations because he says that they go into a lot more detail and explanation about the rest of the story that the movie didn't really get in there, and it helps you to understand the movie a lot more. And so I was giving this one a try, and so far you are absolutely right, Bruce Wayne. Thank you for that recommendation. I'm really enjoying this. I totally plan to listen to the Clone Wars next, and then I'll go through and I will watch the 3 prequel movies. I'm also reading a stack of assorted comic books. Got the next edition of Thor God of Thunder, I've got a Batgirl in there, a Teen Titans, Ant-Man, and something else. Oh, Gotham Academy. I have the first volume of Gotham Academy, and I also just picked up a couple of the Doctor Who graphic novels that they're coming out with. So I have a lot of graphic novels to read this next month as well. And that's in addition to the 3 books I have sitting over there that still need to be read. Reading is hard work. I also have a book haul. I was at a thrift store the other day looking at their books because of course it's a great place to buy books, and I came across the Mistborn Trilogy, everything except the Alloy of Law, and I'm staring at them on the shelf because I know that I own one of the books, but not the other 2. And I can't remember the title of the book that I own. I was pretty sure that the one I had was The Hero of Ages, so I got Mistborn and The Well of Ascension. Got home and realized that I was absolutely right. So now I have the Mistborn Trilogy, and they are actually all the same print run. They're all the paperbacks, they all have the same cover art and everything, so that makes it super, super awesome. I can't wait to read this series. I actually forgot to mention this one in my last book haul, but I won a giveaway for The Dungeoneers by John David Anderson, who is the author of Sidekicked, which I reviewed and read last month, which is really good. But I won this from a blog giveaway on Unleashing Readers, and I am very excited to give this a try. And of course, the last weekend, Kobo.com was having like a 50% off sale, so I went and I bought a ton of ebooks. Let's see if I can go ahead and list them all. I got Vicious by V.E. Schwab because I have heard so many good things about that book, especially here on BookTube, and I didn't have a copy. I couldn't find a copy in my library. I'm very, very excited to read this because it's about superheroes and supervillains and best friends who becomes arch-nemesis. So I'm very excited to start. I also got Trickster and the Tales of Arland by Alethea Contis, which are both part of the Woodcutter Sisters series. Trickster is a novella that, as I recall, takes place during the events of Hero. And then the Tales of Arland is like a short story collection about the mythical land itself. It's kind of the fairy tales of the land and legends, so that should be really, really fun. And then I stocked up on a bunch of Brandon Sanderson novellas. I bought every single one that I could find. Get ready for the list. Legion Skin Deep, Infinity Blade, Awakening and Redemption, The Emperor's Soul, Battles for Silence in the Forests of Hell, Firstborn, and Perfect State. So that's 8 Brandon Sanderson short stories and novellas, so I'm very excited to read all of those because, in case I haven't mentioned it, I love Brandon Sanderson. And you know, one of the things that I really like to talk about is television shows. So right now I am currently actively watching a couple of different shows. I'm watching Blue Bloods, which I have just recently started, and I am completely obsessed with. Plus it has Tom Selleck. I am also re-watching the first 3 seasons of Longmire. I have not gotten very far. I was hoping to re-watch them all before season 4 came out to kind of catch up on the storyline because season 4, Netflix, I love you and thank you so much. I just saw the trailer for season 4 and I am so, absolutely so excited. I had a couple of other topics to cover, but honestly, my voice is exhausted and I think this video is going to be long enough as it is. So last but not least, I just want to announce that I am at 393 YouTube subscribers. That is awesome. I am only 7 away from 400. 7. Only 7. So I'm looking at you, watching this video, who hasn't subscribed yet. Be one of those 7 who gets me to 400. Be one of the 7. And I know I promised you back in July that as soon as I got my bookshelves up and organized, I was going to give you a bookshelf tour. Well, I started filming it today.